It's official. Macklin Celebrini takes the lead for the Calder Trophy after a dominant start to his rookie campaign, leading into him looking like a franchise player and the next great in the NHL. And Ryan Warsofsky has an unorthodox practice leading into the game versus Utah. We're going to break all this down and more later on in this episode. Before we get into that, I just want to say that we are finally launching Sharks Digest. So if you're enjoying the Sharks content, if you like the San Jose Sharks, if you're a die-hard fan, make sure to go down, hit that subscribe button, but we'll hop straight into the first episode. Now, everyone around the league knows how good Macklin Celebrini has been. Starting off his career with the San Jose Sharks, 31 games, 13 goals, 15 assists, 28 points. Celebrini is looking like a superstar in the NHL. We've seen him dominate on the offensive end. We've seen him dominate on the defensive end. And he officially leads all leaders in the rookie race to win Rookie of the Year. Now, looking at the event sets on Macklin Celebrini makes things even better for Sharks fans, and diving into it, we can see the line of Zetterlund, Celebrini, and Ucklin is second on the team in expected goals for percentage. Celebrini has been dominant with no matter who he's playing with, but with Zetterlund and Ucklin, it seems like he has really found his chemistry. Going in to the point leaders for the rookie race, we can see Lane Hudson leading the race, but when we look at Celebrini playing 9 less games, only having 2 less points, he has been phenomenal to start his career. Casey, what's your initial thoughts on just the first half of Celebrini's career?
I mean, it's amazing to see this guy play. I mean, you want to tune in the Sharks games to see what this guy's going to pull out of the hat. He has done some amazing maneuvers just with his dekes, chipping stuff off the board between his legs, making some great passes across the ice to find some open teammates. And like you said, it's all on the back of this line being so successful. I mean, Zetterlund and Eklund are both benefiting by playing with a once in a generation type of player, and it's just making them better. They're all young and they're all growing together. So if you can keep this line together for the future, I think they're going to be very dominant, and especially Celebrini. I think this guy, him and Bedard are going to be the next Ovi and Crosby, in my opinion.
And looking at these guys, they're both going to be dominant, but I think Celebrini has been edging out Bedard's rookie season, with the biggest thing coming from the defensive end. We see the top defensive line when you're looking at expected goals against per 60. The lowest goals against per 60 has Celebrini at the dead center with Zetterlund and Eklund again. This is an 87 minutes played, 15 games played. But looking at this, the defensive side of his game is the biggest thing in my opinion. Not only is he almost leading the entire rookie class in scoring with 10 less games played, but he's also been dominant on both sides of the puck, breaking plays up, making plays, everything in between. He has been outstanding. At one point of the season, he had the best faceoff percentage by any first overall pick since it was tracked. This was ahead of guys like John Tavares, who is known for his faceoffs. Looking at this, do you think he could come in and just be the next two-way superstar of the league? Or do you think maybe his offense just takes off a little more?
I think when I look at this guy, I think a good comparable in the league already is Mitch Marner. I think Mitch Marner plays the same style of game as Macklin Celebrini, or Macklin Celebrini plays the same style of game as Mitch Marner, and I think it's going to continue this way. I think his offense will shine, and a lot more people will talk about how offensively gifted he is. But when you look deeper into Celebrini, the defense and being such a great defensive center is going to be there as well. And I think that's great for the Sharks' future because they have a number one center that they can build around. They have a lot of young guys in this core, and they're all going to grow together. And I think this guy could easily become, one of those guys we're talking about when the Selke, in a couple years' time.
And the biggest thing is it seems like the media doesn't talk about Celebrini enough. That's one of the big reasons why we wanted to start this channel, to give the Sharks the spotlight they deserve. No, there might not be the best team in the NHL, but this exciting play from the young talent, you can see it throughout the lineup. The Ucklin line, having Celebrini, Zetterlund, who's not young but still a great piece. Everything in between with this Sharks team is super exciting. But what are you guys' thoughts on Celebrini? How many points do you think he'll finish his rookie campaign with? Because it would not surprise me if he broke nearly 90 points. It might be pushing it on that, but I think he has a offensive gift that's going to really explode in the second half of the season. But with that, we should hop straight into the second topic, which is the weird practice that was Ryan today and kind of all over hockey social media. We've seen Ryan Warsofsky go into practice and just have the fans booing. They had the speakers going. They had fans booing, cheering. And he said, that's just usually what's going on in a hockey game. I do something that's a little outside the box, but at the same time, you've got to be mentally tough. When you don't connect on a pass and the crowd gets into all those things, we're going to be heading on the road here. He continues on to say, Utah is an energized building. A new fan base and the trip, Columbus is a loud building, Boston's loud. You got to get used to it. Got to get mentally tough to go through some things. And when things aren't going our way, you got to feel that and go through that. Looking at this, I don't think I've ever seen a coach go out, take the music off the practice, and just have fans booing, cheering, everything to get this team used to playing in front of crowds. Just looking at this, do you think this is something that maybe other teams might start trying at some point?
Yeah, I love this from our boy Warsofsky because unfortunately, Sharks fans, the Shark Tank is looking pretty empty these days because, it seems like all the fans in that area, sorry, but it seems like they only start to come around when the team's really good. I mean, there are the diehards, there are other guys that are watching, this video that are through the rough years, but I think it's a smart move here by the head coach to put these boos on there, put these cheers on there, and put these chants just throughout the stadium because hockey is, yes, it is a physical game, but the mental game is a big part of it. And if you're out there and you're down a goal and you're getting booed in your home stadium, or you're out on the road and the electricity in the building is getting too much for you to overcome and come back in a game, that does affect the mental of a team. And I think it's very smart. And like you said, I think a lot more teams are going to adapt this style into practice.
And the biggest thing is, listen, things might not be perfect for the Sharks right now, but the future is teal. I cannot stop saying this enough. Looking at the team, and I mean looking at the team going into Utah, obviously we're going to talk about some players that will not be playing in Utah. You can see Goodrow's on the fourth line. There was a bit of a mistake there. But looking at the lines going in, there's so much young talent pushing through this lineup. We're seeing it with Celebrini. We're seeing it with Macklin, Will Smith. But looking at the game versus Utah, they're going to be down two guys. Walman is out, and so is Kovalenko. Looking at this, KC, do you think there's a chance that they come out and really shock the Utah fans? And what do you expect from this young team going forward for the rest of the season?
I always say that the Sharks have a chance because when you get a bunch of young guys together, they always have a chance of upsetting. It's just the way it is in hockey because they have that mentality that, we don't have any weight on our shoulders. We're 20 years old, 18 years old. Nobody expects us to win the Stanley Cup. So they can go out there, play freely, play within the system of Warsofsky, of course, but go out and just have fun and enjoy the game and get better. That's what this team is. It's a young group of guys who are just getting better every game. And I think when you have a mentality like that to where, we know we're probably not going to win the Stanley Cup, but we want to go out there. We want to stun the top teams in the league, like a Florida Panthers, like a Washington Capitals, because that's what they are doing there in San Jose. And I think going forward for the rest of the season, we are going to see a lot more improvement. They have been dealing with some injuries. I mean, Walman has been a big one. He kind of broke out this year in San Jose and has looked very good on the back end for them. So I think once you get these players start to come back, I think we will see the Sharks finish the season strong.
And the biggest thing is looking at the Sharks team, Mike Grier has done an incredible job building this team from acquiring prospects, picks, making trades. Even if it's moving on from someone like Blackwood, it seems like the Sharks are truly building for the future on the backs of key players like Celebrini, Macklin, Will Smith. There's so many players to talk about. So if you enjoyed this and you want us to talk about more things Sharks, or even if you want us to talk about so many more rumors popping up about the Sharks, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode. But I've been your host, Mark, with my co-host, KC, and take care, Sharks fans.